Sclera. Sclera. The sclera, also known as the white of the eye, is the opaque, fibrous, protective, outer layer of the eye containing mainly collagen and some elastic fiber. In humans, the whole sclera is white, contrasting with the colored iris, but in other mammals the visible part of the sclera matches the color of the iris, so the white part does not normally show. In the development of the embryo, the sclera is derived from the neural crest. In children, it is thinner and shows some of the underlying pigment, appearing slightly blue. In the elderly, fatty deposits on the sclera can make it appear slightly yellow. Sclera, 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 sclera. Inferior rectus. Superior oblique. The superior oblique muscle, or obliquus oculi superior, is a fusiform muscle superior oblique. Lateral rectus. Lateral rectus. Lateral rectus. Lateral rectus. The lateral rectus muscle is a muscle on the lateral side of the eyeball in the orbit. It is one of 6 extraocular muscles. Inferior oblique. Inferior rectus. Sclera. Inferior oblique. Superior vitreous humor. Superior sclera. Superior sclera. Medial sclera. Inferior sclera. Lateral superior oblique. Cameo nerve. The optic nerve, also known as cameo nerve. Cameo nerve. Cameo nerve. The optic nerve, also known as cranial nerve 2, is a paired nerve that transmits visual information from the retina to the brain. The optic nerve, also known as cranial nerve 2, is a paired nerve that transmits visual information from the retina to the brain. In humans, the optic nerve is derived from optic stalks during the 7th week of development and is composed of retinal ganglion cell axons and glial cells. It extends from the optic disc to the optic chiasma and continues as the optic tract to the lateral geniculate nucleus, protectal nuclei, and superior colliculus. Lens. Iris. Cornea. The iris is a thin, circular structure in the eye, responsible for controlling the diameter and size of the pupil and thus the amount of light reaching the retina. Eye color is defined by that of the iris. In optical terms, the pupil is the eye's aperture, while the iris is the diaphragm. Lens. Cornea. The lens is a transparent, biconvex structure in the eye that, along with the cornea, helps to refract light to be focused on the retina. The lens, by changing shape, functions to change the focal distance of the eye so that it can focus on objects at various distances, thus allowing a sharp real image of the object of interest to be formed on the retina. This adjustment of the lens is known as accommodation, see also below. Accommodation is similar to the focusing of a photographic camera via movement of its lenses. The lens is more flat on its anterior side than on its posterior side. The lens is also known as the aqua Latin, a little stream, dim, of aqua, water or crystalline lens. In humans, the refractive power of the lens in its natural environment is approximately 18 diopters, roughly 1/3 of the eye's total power. Cornea. Ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscle is a ring of smooth muscle in the eye's middle layer that controls accommodation for viewing objects at varying distances and regulates the flow of aqueous humor into Schlemm's canal. It changes the shape of the lens within the eye, not the size of the pupil, which is carried out by the sphincter pupillae muscle and dilator pupillae. Vitreous humor. Ciliary muscles. Ciliary processes. The ciliary processes are formed by the inward folding of the various layers of the choroid, i.e., the choroid proper and the lamina basilis, and are received between corresponding foldings of the suspensory ligament of the lens. They are arranged in a circle and form a sort of frill behind the iris, around the margin of the lens. They vary from 60 to 80 in number, lie side by side, and may be divided into large and small. The former are about 2.5 millimeters in length, and the latter, consisting of about 1/3 of the entire number, are situated in spaces between them, but without regular arrangement. They are attached by their periphery to 3 or 4 of the ridges of the orbiculus ciliaris, and are continuous with the layers of the choroid. Their opposite extremities are free and rounded, and are directed toward the posterior chamber of the eyeball and circumference of the lens. In front, they are continuous with the periphery of the iris. Their posterior surfaces are connected with the suspensory ligament of the lens. Ciliary muscles. Lens. Vitreous humor. Sclera. The vitreous body is the clear gel that fills the space between the lens and the retina of the eyeball of humans and other vertebrates. It is often referred to as the vitreous humor or simply the vitreous. The vitreous humor is a transparent, colorless, gelatinous mass that fills the space in the eye between the lens and the retina. It makes up 4/5 of the volume of the eyeball. The vitreous humor is fluid-like near the center and gel-like near the edges. The vitreous humor is in contact with the retina. It does not adhere to the retina, except at the optic nerve disc in the oris aorta, where the retina ends anteriorly, at the weaker band, the dorsal side of the lens. It is not connected at the macula, the area of the retina which provides finer detail in central vision. Aquaporin -4 in Muller cell in rats transports water to the vitreous body. The vitreous superior oblique. Choroid. Sclera. Choroid. Sclera. The choroid, also known as the choroidea or choroid coat, is the vascular layer of the eye, containing connective tissues and lying between the retina and the sclera. The human choroid is thickest at the far extreme rear of the eye at 0.2 millimeters, while in the outlying areas it narrows to 0.1 millimeters. The choroid provides oxygen and nourishment to the outer layers of the retina. Along with the ciliary body and iris, the choroid forms the uveal tract. The structure of the choroid is generally divided into 4 layers, classified in order of furthest away from the retina to closest. The choroid, also known as the vitreous humor, retina. Superior oblique. Vitreous humor. The retina is the third and inner coat of the eye, which is a light-sensitive layer of tissue. The optics of the eye create an image of the visual world on the retina through the cornea and lens, which serves much the same function as the film in a camera. Light striking the retina initiates a cascade. Vitreous humor. The retina is the third and inner coat of the eye, which is a light-sensitive layer of tissue. The optics of the eye create an image of the visual world on the retina through the cornea and lens, which serves much the same function as the film in a camera. Light striking the retina initiates a cascade of chemical and electrical events that ultimately trigger nerve impulses. These are sent to various visual centers of the brain through the superior rectus. Vitreous humor. Superior rectus. Vitreous humor. Superior oblique. Vitreous humor. Superior oblique. Superior rectus. Cornea. Cornea. Lens. Vitreous humor. Ciliary muscles. Iris. Pupil. The pupil is a hole located in the center of the iris of the eye that allows light to strike the retina. It appears black because light rays entering the pupil are either absorbed by the tissues inside the eye directly, or absorbed after diffuse reflections within the eye that mostly miss exiting the narrow pupil. In humans the pupil is round, but other species, such as some cats, have vertical slit pupils, goats have horizontally oriented pupils, and some catfish have annular types. In optical terms, the anatomical pupil is the eye's aperture and the iris is the aperture stop. The image of the pupil is seen from outside the eye as the entrance pupil, which does not exactly correspond to the location and size of the physical pupil because it is magnified by the cornea. On the inner edge lies a prominent structure, the collarette, marking the junction of the embryonic pupillary membrane covering the embryonic pupil. Lens. Ciliary process. Vitreous humor.